This is really interesting. Like, I've never tried it before. Can I just... This doesn't happen. This isn't natural. Have you guys ever, like, tried to wink but keep the other eye, like, the same, like, level of being opened? It's weird. Anyways, today it's the long-awaited video. Well, I wouldn't say long-awaited. It's just I meant to do it a while ago, but so many things have come up where I just whoosh, it didn't get to be made. So today we're going to be going over the final part of the series in the Friends with Benefits mini series, and it's parasitism. And the two examples I have are both aquatic because I found these two really interesting when I was looking at them. But yeah, parasitism is where one animal gains and the other animal is hurt. Like, for example, the obvious answers for parasitism are ticks. They gain because they get blood and nutrients from their host, and the other animal is hurt because they have blood and nutrients taken out of them. And that's all, like, discounting diseases, should there be any on the tick. So I always think about that, like, if that animal didn't have any diseases on it, that just sort of just the plain, I don't know what to call it. I know the word. I know words. The plain, oh my gosh, never mind. But this is let's see, my first example is of, I believe it was a type of freshwater clam who uses parasitism to spread their young. What happens is the clam sits like, let's see, make a clam in the camera, preferably. The clam sits like this at the bottom, and it flaps open, and there's this little, like, lure that looks like a fish that attracts, like, larger fish like bass over to it. And as soon as the fish gets close enough to nibble on the little lure that it has, it spits out a whole bunch of little baby clams into the fish's face. And those go in and they clamp onto the fish's lungs and starts draining nutrients from it. Now, as soon as the babies are large enough to actually be able to survive, because when they start out, they're like microscopic. And as soon as they get large enough to be able to survive, then they drop off of the fish and they land, and that's where they live. And that's where they'll end up living. So, upside, the clam gets a cool way to spread its babies, because it drops off wherever they, like, when they get large enough, and wherever that fish goes. But bad side for the fish is, imagine, like, something living in your lungs and just, like, pinching on them to suck blood and nutrients out of you. It's a pretty not too comfortable. I don't think I'd be comfortable at all with that exchange. Exchange, that's the word I was thinking of earlier. Ha. I know words. I know them. So, you go and there's these, like, and it's really cool in the way that it does it, because the lure, different species of them have lures that look like different fish. So it'll, like, pump water in and out of it to make it look like it's swimming, or it'll have it facing a certain way. That way, the current of the river makes it look like the fish is swimming. So it's really cool how they've adapted to be able to use this method to spread their young. And the other example is saltwater, and I learned about this watching a documentary, and I was like, oh, interesting. And what happened was, and I believe this was in England, a couple went to go buy fish from the market, and they bought, like, a whole bunch of fish, and they brought them home, and when they opened it up, it was making a hissing sound. Mind you, the fish is already dead. So they, like, cut it open and all that, and they look in the fish's mouth, and there's this little bug that's sitting there hissing, and it's, like, doing this with its little feet, and it's like the claws, it's like, yeah, and they were like, oh, okay. Come to find out, it's isopods. Now, I think isopods, they had another name that I called them, and I forgot what it was, but it was still creepy. And what happens is, little isopods, the egg gets, like, I think it gets eaten by a fish. Isopod grows up, actually, like, hatches inside of the fish and crawls up to the fish's mouth and chews off its tongue. Yes, that happens, and they showed it, and I was like, what in the world is happening? It chews off the fish's tongue, and it takes, really, Sean? It takes the fish's tongue's place and actually, like, sits there on the fish's jaw, with its feet and claws hooked into the fish's jaw so it can't be, like, pulled out. And it sits there with its teeth, like, with its little mandibles, that when the fish eats, it eats. And I'm like, that's creepy. I mean, I just lost my tongue so you can sit there and eat whatever you want? No, we don't play that. So, you have, like, this, and they can start at, like, about a few centimeters, like, less than a centimeter. And then they can grow to be up to, like, 2 or 3 inches. And I'm like, well, that's really weird because I switched from centimeters to inches, so. Oh well. And they can get that big. And I'm like, I think I'd lose my, I think I'd probably throw up immediately if I bought some fish and I'm about to cook it and it starts hissing and I open it up and I see, like, this 3-inch bug crawling inside of the fish's mouth trying to get something. Oh, and it doesn't stop there. When the fish dies and it's in there, it eats the fish from the inside out because it's already in the fish's mouth. And I'm like, stop. Just, there are some things that nature didn't have a filter when it made the isopod. It didn't. I mean, that's one of those, like, I feel like if there was ever an animal to base a really scary movie off of, it'd be the isopod. Because, like, the fish can't do anything about it. They can't, like, reach into their mouth and pull it out. They're literally just stuck with it being there. I think that the next scary movie should be called Isopod. That'd be extremely scary. Yeah. Well, I think I just scared myself a little bit. Oh, and on a not so light, brighter note, I found something out about when I had the video on mutualism, and I talked about oxpeckers and other large mammals. Now, I found something out that they actually have a slightly parasitic side to them. And seeing as what they do is they'll clean off bugs and ticks and fleas and stuff from off large animals, if there aren't enough ticks and bugs on that animal, they'll bite holes into the animal and drink the blood directly from the animal. So it's like you have to have this many at any given time, or you're, like, getting a hole pecked in you, so that way your friend can eat off of your soul. Well, on that note, have a great day. Check in the check in the description. There'll be another vote for the next video or video set if you guys vote on that. And have a great time not thinking about isopods ripping out your tongue and sitting in your mouth.